Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Judy, and today I'm going to just talk very briefly about free will. And the reason that I'm doing that is just because I'm sort of wrapping things up. I think I've only got, after this one, maybe 2 more things I want to talk about. And so free will is such an important thing to make sure everybody is pardon me, clear on, because I have mentioned it in other ways, calling it choices, for instance, or options. But I really want to be sure you're clear what I mean, and this is just my way of thinking. It's not, some universal thought. It's just mine. But in the way I see things, free will plays an enormous part in who we are right now, Judy, and who we are inside, soul, and where we're going to go in this life and in others. So before we get started, if you wouldn't hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate that. So I've already mentioned so many things, and if this is your first visit and you haven't watched any of my other videos, you may want to consider going back and watching them. Honestly, the best way to do it is from the first one all the way through. Just let them roll. And, even the songs and the movie clips and everything that are in between my videos, those are really important to cement the ideas that I'm trying to make. I put them there for a really good reason. So try not to skip any of those. But anyway, I'm not going to explain some of this stuff because I've already done that a couple times. So I just want to kind of make clear what free will is spiritually. Okay, so we come into this life purposefully, choosing the scenario that might work best for us with what other souls might be able to help us, and that way maybe we can balance our karma between them, but also maybe they have some things to do in a situation similarly where they're also going to have an experience aside from balancing karma between relationships. So there's just so many really good reasons that we jump into a particular type of life setup. And when we do that as soul, of course it is our choice. God is not saying, okay, you go into Judy's body and I don't know why he has this voice. He's got to have a big, loud, deep voice. You go there and you do that, And God, again, I mentioned this already, God doesn't care what we do or where we go or how we do it, because God knows that we're acting in love every time. Soul acts in nothing but love. Soul is not selfish, soul is not greedy, soul is not jealous, soul is not any of that. Soul is acting in love. So the choices that soul makes are loving choices every time. And so there's no concern, not that there would be anyway. God doesn't notice error because it's unconditional love and it's not going to judge us. Anyway, that's a whole other video. So, so we come into this world and we make that choice as soul. And then once we're here and we're in human form, we probably don't remember why we came in here, what we're trying to achieve or anything like that, because that would sort of take away from the actual choices that we have, if you understand what I mean. If everybody knew what their destiny absolutely was, they would just work toward that, and there would be not a lot of lessons going on in the meantime. Remember, part of life is really learning the lessons that we experience on our way to trying to find our added karma. So we have these options, things come up where we can make a choice about something, and sometimes we choose to be miserable. And it's funny because people who are miserable don't even know they're making the choice. I've been there. I can tell you, you actually believe if you're playing the victim, if you're being miserable, if sometimes even depression, and I shouldn't say it quite like this because I know depression is clinically a real thing, but once someone is a little bit better, maybe they're taking medication, something like that, they're so used to being depressed, they're so used to being sad, blaming themselves, listening to the voice, all the things that I've talked about, that they don't even realize they have a choice. And we always have a choice. There's always at least 2 choices. It's never just one road. It's always got at least 2. There's probably 25. And the choices that we make in body, as soul living in a body and the experiences of that body and the relationships of that body, the choices we make, Judy makes choices 100% dependent on what she wants as a human, what she knows as soul, and what feels right, which is her intuition, and that is the part of her that is spirit, that is connected to all things. So even if you're not aware that that is what you're making a decision from, you might think you're making a decision because, somebody else did that and you thought that was a good idea, or you just kind of, oh, I'd like to do that, I'd like to buy that, I'd like to go here, all those kinds of things. You may not be self-reflective enough or meditative or contemplative or whatever word you want to use to even realize that you have a choice and that you're making one. But it is a choice, and your soul knows. You can literally do whatever you want. Now there's things that are against the law, and you make that choice to break a law. There's a good possibility that you're going to learn the consequences of that choice rather quickly, but it is still a choice. Someone who does something wrong has just as much freedom to make that choice as someone who does something right. And when I say by wrong or right, I mean positive or negative, fear or love, whatever category you want to put that in. And remember, those categories are not God's, but ours as humans. So you can dance your way through life, or you can grumble your way through life. It is completely up to you. And soul knows what it's trying to do. And that intuition that you feel is your soul nudging you toward the right thing. But that doesn't mean we always listen. Yeah, it's an experience. So I just want to make sure I'm very clear that what you do in this life matters. No matter what it is, good, bad, or ugly, it doesn't matter. It's all going to make a difference in soul's growth and even in your human life, the form you're in right now, the relationships, the karma between people, and all the experiences. These all are going to be affected by the choices that you make. The thing is, most of us don't know it's a choice, and maybe that's a good thing. Because imagine if you thought of every single piece of pie that you ate as something that's going to affect soul, you'd start getting kind of paranoid. So you don't have to take it all that seriously, because we know that one way or the other, we are all going to be lifted up, we are all going to go together, and we are all going to become love. So, sing out. It's your choice. Thanks for listening.